It's been dang near a year since we did the ultimate wipe-on clear coat comparison. In that video, we took 4 kind of common surface restoring or preservation techniques, and we compared them side by side on 3 different applications: on a truck, on an S10, on this tractor, and on this power wagon. So it's been a year. We've had a ton of questions on that comparison video asking how they're holding up over time. And I didn't want to jump the gun, so I've been waiting. I gave it a year, so here we are. I'll bring you in closer, but just so as a reminder, the way we did it was we taped off 5 sections. One, we used a turtle wax cutting compound. One was the Zepp high traffic floor polish. The center section here was just our control. It was not treated with anything. Then we put on the Poppy's patina on this stripe, and this stripe was the Vice Grip Garage wipe on clear coat. And the Power Wagon is the opposite order. It was Vice Grip, Poppy's patina, control, Zepp, and then the turtle wax. So the S10 is not here, but once I show you guys these 2 up close, we'll run to the house where the S10 is. You may or may not have seen that video as well. After this test, I concluded that I wanted to use the Poppy's patina on the S10, and that's kind of why I did this, to decide which one is the best value, which one I like the best. So we Poppy patina the whole S10, so it's completely coated. So I'll show you how that has held up, because these little test strips look pretty good, but it's a small area, and it doesn't really, it's not a real comprehensive look at what it would do on a full truck. I've got some spots on the S10 that aren't holding up quite as good as what's on this hood. All right. So the turtle wax, if I hadn't done it myself, I wouldn't even have known it was there. It's completely gone. Matches the control. The Zepp looked actually really good for a long time, and just recently, like in the last couple months, the swirl marks started to reveal themselves. I don't know, it just became oxidized. But when it was fresh, the nice little satin finish looked really good. In fact, after this video, I'm going to wet sand this whole thing, try to get it back down to base material, and then I'm going to do the whole tractor in the Zepp. So we'll probably make a video about that, I don't know, but I think that would look good. The Poppy's patina on the tractor, it looks almost as good as the day we put it on. Now I know we're parked in the shade here a little bit, but you can still see it's got quite a good reflection. I tried to show my hand in the reflection. So it's got a little bit of distortion. Look at the Vice Grip. It actually is a sharper reflection than the Poppy's. See that? So like I said, Vice Grip Garage, it too hasn't really changed much. And it's worth noting that this tractor has sat in the sun uncovered for the most part. It's got a little bit of afternoon shade, but for the most part, direct sunlight all day long for a full year, and it's held up pretty good. This is the side that was facing west, and it usually takes the most abuse around here. Looks decent. Let's check out the old Power Wagon. What a rig, huh? Just wait till we get this thing rolling. The turtle wax there is just a faint indicator that there was anything there. Doesn't really look any better or any worse. On this one, the Zepp has an unusual finish. It's almost like parts of it oxidized, but parts of it didn't. Down here on the green, it actually still has a nice little sheen. There you go, you can kind of tell there the difference in that reflection. But up here where it's somewhat rusty, I don't know, doesn't seem like it likes it much. So you may be limited on using ZEP on anything that's got some of this surface rust. That's a shame. But like on the tractor where there's no surface rust, I think the ZEP will be a good choice. Then we get to Poppy's patina. I mean, looks pretty good. I kind of did a crappy job with the applicator pad on this one. That's why the finish is a little rough. That's on me. That's not the product. And then the vice grip stuff. They're really very comparable. And they're similarly priced and made by the same people. So it's really just, who do you want to support? I'm sure everyone's getting paid. So I would say I had less trouble applying this one. I don't know. I want to say the vice grip stuff seemed to turn out better on both this one and on this one. But it's very close. That could probably be buffed and look really, really good. All right, so we're gonna go to the house. We're gonna drag the S10 out. We'll probably drive it to the car wash because she's been sitting in the shop for months. And then we'll get her washed up, and then we'll see how the Poppy's patina's holding up on the whole rig. All right, let's get out the Ron Duke, as we call her. Yeah, she's dusty. Let's take her to the car wash real quick. All right, so here she is back from the car wash. Kind of a crappy job, so bear with me. If you want to see what this looked like before, which would probably be helpful, I'll leave a link to the video where we redid this entire thing and how that whole process went. But you can see she's got a pretty healthy shine to her. It's holding up pretty well. I did notice, you can see here, you can see the reflection of the ram in it pretty good. I did notice though, when I was washing it, yeah, it's bumpy. We do have some peeling, and it kind of silhouettes this rust spot here. So whether or not that's a defect of the product or user error, I don't know, because it didn't do that on the Power Wagon, which also had some faded paint rust spots. But just something to keep in mind. It definitely hasn't held up perfectly. Could be my fault, but other people could have the same results. And this thing has been parked inside, so it's not like the UV rays have just been cooking it. Tailgate still looks really good. Let me see if I can. You can still faintly see the test panels I did, especially the vice grip stuff and the Poppy's stuff, which just goes to show 2 coats of this is probably better than 1. You know, I guess that might not be obvious. Sometimes 1 coat is as good as you're gonna get, and it looks like in this case, 2's better. You can kind of see the applicator marks there, not the swirls, but like right here. You know, that's on me, but that is something you need to be careful about, cognizant of. But all in all, she still looks way better than she did. Perfect? No. Is the clear coat flawless? No. But for $200, can't really complain about that. The irregularity of the glare there, that's not the clear coat. That's where I was wiping the car wash remains. I was trying to get it dry, and I guess I was smearing some stuff around. Hang on. Apparently a dirty old shirt isn't the best. Maybe that is in the clear coat. Are the applicator lines starting to stand out? I thought that was from where I dried it, but that kind of looks like my application passes, as evidenced by, let's see if I can get my shadow out. See that straight line next to the keyhole? Interesting. It's almost like where I didn't get it on thick enough. We're seeing some, oh yeah, that's dry. Okay. So maybe not holding up as well as I thought. Still a really decent 10-footer, 25-footer. Hey, it's 200 bucks. All right, so I think that about wraps up the 1-year review of the 4-product clear coat wipe-on comparison. We know that the Turtle Wax polishing compound, yeah, we know that's a short-term deal. That stuff can work good, and it is a good way to do it, but you're gonna have to do it, well, you're gonna have to do it way more regularly. The Zep high traffic floor polish, super cheap, goes on super easy. You can go to Lowe's and pick it up, maybe even Walmart. I got it on Amazon. I can leave a link to that if anyone wants to try it. And it obviously doesn't shine up quite as good. You'll see that in the tractor video that I'll post after this one, where we do the whole tractor in the Zep. But it is cheap, it's easy to put on, and when you do it in a couple coats, it actually does have a really nice satin finish. The Poppies and Vice Grip clear coat is obviously the best. It's a 2-part clear coat. It's expensive though, and I will say, now that I'm looking at it out of direct sunlight, I can definitely tell that the irregularities, the striping, is where the thinner clear coat is starting to fade a little bit. I don't want to jump the gun and say it's fading after a year, because maybe that was there before, but I feel like I would have noticed that. I think though, if you're careful and thorough, things that aren't really good characteristics for myself personally, and you do a nice even coat, 2 coats, I don't think you'll see that, because that was clearly a spot that just didn't get hit as well. So whether or not that's always been there, or whether or not it's just fading, becoming more obvious as time goes on, hard to say. For $200, I would use this again. I wouldn't use it on just anything because of the cost. If it was 75 bucks, 50 bucks, yeah, definitely use it again. But at that price point, the Zep is just so much cheaper and so much easier to get your hands on. And if it's sensitive to the application process and or is showing some signs of age after just a year, well, the Zep would be just as good. But we'll see. We'll do this again on another vehicle. We've got so many projects around here where we're not at a shortage of stuff to slap it on. So we'll give it another go. Hey, holy stripes. I don't think that was there before. Anyway, you guys asked for a follow-up. Here it is. Still looks good. Does it look as good as it did a year ago? I don't think so. The flaking on the roof and the obvious striping, not as good as day one, clearly. All right. I hope this helps. Thanks.